Hey everybody, how you doing? Damian Zamora, CEO of Go Mobile Solutions, coming to you from San Diego, California, United States of America today. But no matter where I'm at, no matter what we're doing, I'm here ready to deliver to you another Happy Hour Hangout. This is yet another installment of the Happy Hour Hangout. We've been doing these for about 3 years now, bringing you thought leaders, business leaders, and folks that bring some really super killer content to the table. And today is going to be no different. You're going to learn today from someone that's a part of my own roots, from some of my own upbringing. Many of you know that have been following me for many years. You know, I'm on a 33-year career now. And when I started that career, I was in the credit card processing industry. That's right. In 1990, as like a 18-year-old, I started in credit card processing. And by 19, made my first $1 million in business, right? And went on from there and built some amazing businesses in credit card processing. This man that you're going to hear from today shares some of the same war stories. In fact, we joke about how we're going to have a few beers one day at a different happy hour. And we're going to really share some of the war stories of our journey. But tonight, you're going to get to hear some of his journey and how he was able to start a company with no contacts and no money. And you're going to be able to be inspired today on how maybe you're just getting started out and how you can get started from nothing and to achieve the success that you desire. You're going to learn something that he calls the SODA Method for simplifying, organizing, delegating, and automating. This is a really cool thing. He was telling me about it, and I'm already applying it into my business. He's going to tell you how you can prepare each day, conquer your objectives and meet your goals. And that's the key here. This man, just like, I'll tell you, when we sat and talked about some of the things that he was going to be teaching you, I said, this could not be the more perfect topic, because a lot of our folks are newbies. A lot of our folks are corporate world, 20, 30 years now trying to restart, redefine their lives, fresh starts, right? Entrepreneurs, many people that are starting from absolutely nothing. So you're going to be inspired today, but more than be inspired, you're going to leave with actionable content. You're going to leave with the block time strategy that will increase your time and efficiency. Look, if I didn't block my time, I would be scattered all over the place, running 2 companies now, and a lot of our personal family projects and things that we're doing. I would lose my mind. You're going to get some strategies today that you're going to be able to apply in your business. So I hope you're ready. And I hope you're ready to love what you're about to receive. Take some notes, stay focused. And if you're on YouTube, hi, YouTube viewers, good to see you on here. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Like this. If you like this content, share it with your friends. I guarantee you, if you like it, they will like it too. Make sure to also check the notifications so you are always sure to be notified when we get a drop. But right now, get ready for Mr. Glen Kaplan, my man. How you doing, Glen? Good to see you on.
Damon.
This man's been in credit card processing for the last 2 decades plus. So this man really knows his stuff. Glen, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, man, it's an honor. Honestly, I'm glad. I'm excited to share and be a part of this, man. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So how you doing? Where are you out of right now today? Where are you at?
I'm at home, and good day today, and just drove back in town, and it's a little thunderstorm outside, but looking forward to the weekend, a little relaxation.
Yeah, I left paradise to come here to Southern California, San Diego. And every time I was here a month ago, every time to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But anyway, every time I come down here, it's raining down here. It's cold. It's got a little bit of sun, but it is a little bit of gloomy out there. So I don't get what's going on with the climate up here. That's why I choose to stay in the desert.
Yeah, when the summer starts here in Florida, it's a daily occurrence, about an hour of rainstorm, and then it turns beautiful again. So, and it's pretty when it's a storm out there out the window. So it's all good.
Awesome. Well, as we share stories of our past in the early days, the fruit tree days, the amazing days that I used to call the absolute gold rush back in the early 90s, credit card processing, that moment in time when we were having a huge society behavior shift from carbon copy credit card processing receipts, if you remember that, and they would look at the
Knuckle
book to see
busters.
if the cards were good, right?
Right.
We were transitioning from that to actually using technology that plugged into the phone lines and automatically transacted those credit card processing transactions and dropped the money into your account in 24 hours versus a week or two. That was an amazing time. And I tell you, you remember those times?
Oh man, I do. They were the knuckle busters, right? And they're taking the carbon copy, putting it in there, sending it off to the bank, waiting a week, like you said. And so when we came in, we got it. We were in the business at the same time, with terminals and turning things electronic and automated. It was a big deal, and it was definitely the gold rush days for sure. Peachtree and Cherry Payment, Harbridge, huh?
It was like Into the Gold Rush. It was like literally every single business needed to have it, was going to get it. It was a matter of who they were going to get it from and when. And the when wasn't too hard to figure out either, because everyone was doing it. Absolutely everyone. The minute they opened up terminals, it was insanity. I mean, and I was so young. I wish I was like 10 years wiser than I was at that time, because I would have probably done some even more amazing things with it. But
yeah, well, you did some incredible things with it. So
so let's talk about how Glen got started from nothing. No contacts, no money, no resources, no knowledge of what you were going to be diving into. And how did it happen for you?
yeah, so before I got in the payments business, I was in the insurance business, and I had built a decent agency, but I just didn't enjoy that business. And when I became acquainted with the payment business, I just knew that was my thing. And yeah, I didn't have any fresh out of college. I went to University of Florida, dropped out after the first year. And the day I dropped out was I took my bicycle to a marketing class, and the professor pulled up in a two-tone car, yellow and rust. And it couldn't have been a $500 car. And I'm thinking, he's going to teach me how to make money. And that was the day I left college. So, and then, got in the payments business, and yeah, didn't have a sphere of influence other than some friends in college, and didn't have the funds, and just really started to learn the business and cold call and get into the yellow pages, if people remember those days. And it was an interesting time. I put a little sign in my little apartment, put a little sign on the wall that said, "I'm willing to do today what others aren't willing to do, so I can do tomorrow what others cannot do." And I just worked off cold lists, and I would just dial 100 calls a day until I had 3 appointments, knowing if I had 3 appointments, I'd have 2 people that I could present to, and I'd sell at least 1. And I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was a pleasure to be able to work in something that I knew has such a future. And worked for a couple companies, and like I think you did, in the very, very beginning, and then learned the business and quickly acclimated and understood, and started my own gig, and registered. That was in the 90s. Registered with Visa MasterCard in 2001, and really just worked hard every single day. Woke up and worked from sunrise to sunset until I accomplished my goals every day, and then made enough money that I could hire an assistant. And then you work hard and you make enough money so you can hire some employees and some reps, and be able to spend maybe some money on marketing and advertising, and just kind of built it from there. But it's really just a matter of, I tell my kids, no one's, of course, we're there for our kids, and we'll be there to help and assist, but no one's coming for you. You got to work, you got to do it, you got to make things happen, and not make excuses, just work hard and accomplish. Thankfully, in addition to, it was such a business that I enjoyed and loved, and I still do, and have such a passion, but it was also just a very profitable business to be in and be able to help businesses. And it was such a win-win. We're helping them, and we're getting paid nicely. So just
I gotta actually compliment you on that, because when the business got extremely tight in the early 2000s, My visions of grandeur took me off to dot-com bubble chasing and e-commerce platform building and really just getting into other worlds because, man, it was like everybody was giving away equipment and it was just a big rate war. And it was like you're just a couple basis points away from the next guy. And it was a dog eat dog world. And thankfully I landed into all these other things. But I mean, you were able to stay the course. And then, of course, the industry then started popping up with new technologies, new margins, new ways of pricing, and all kinds of new ways for opportunity for you. But man, you've been in the thing the whole time, which just amazes me.
Yeah, back in the same days, the cherry payment, Peachtree, Harbridge, those
You
days
went
back in
right
the
through
90s.
the early 2000s, right into the mid 2000s. Now into the 2020s.
Yeah, and
Lot
it's
changed.
spectacular. No doubt. And it's just spectacular, the changes that have taken place. And, one of the keys is just staying on the cutting edge. That's what I love what you do and how you help so many people. You're staying on the cutting edge of what's going on as far as marketing and business. And that's really the key because you look at how technologies are changing, things are doubling. I read something a while ago talking about how technology, how often it doubles. And I'm not getting this exactly right, but it was basically something like from 1900 to 1940, everything doubled as far as technology and industry and everything. And then from 1940 to 1970, it doubled, then 1970 to 1980, and all of a sudden now we're seeing technology in every area, in business and marketing and advertising, and it's and artificial intelligence and the rest of it. Things are doubling. I mean, today, what's happening for folks to be a part of your group and all of your knowledge and all of the things you resource together is so critical because in 6 months from now, everything's going to look different. Things are doubling that fast. And so, having a group and having people that you can work with who are on that cutting edge that you can develop and work together I think is absolutely critical.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I mean, that's when we made the commitment to deliver this content every single week to keep everybody on what's next, what's going on. A lot of things we're doing in our course material and work too. It's really important. That speed is really difficult to keep up with, and in some cases we just surrender. We're just going to watch some things unfold, try to stay really close as we can, and deliver what's applicable now. What can we make money on right now? All this stuff is wild, all this stuff is crazy, but what are the things that we can do right now that we can profit from and make money while making an impact, right? And so well, anyway, I went off on a little tangent there, but so go back to the beginning of your origin story. When you first got into payments, and when was that, by the way? When was your first year in the payments business?
I think it was either 1993 or 1994. But I just turned 20. It's weird because I just turned 21. I don't know how it's possible, but yeah.
Did you start by doing the same thing, just driving to each one, signing them up belly to belly, getting them to sign the 7 or 8 applications, including the leasing form, and then eventually started building sales reps to do it?
Absolutely. Knocking on doors, calling the yellow pages. And I just kind of, back in the day before all the automation technology and all the fantastic things you can do today to expand so rapidly, it was just, I knew I needed to talk to 80 people a day, whether I was on the phone or walking door to door or whatever. And, that's where you start. And then you just start developing a relationship.
I don't mean to interrupt, but this is really good for everybody on here. So as you know, the folks on here are digital marketing agencies. Many on here sell mobile applications. And I've always likened what I used to do in credit card processing to mobile applications because we're calling on local businesses, the same restaurants, right? The same chiropractors, the same golf courses, selling terminals versus mobile applications. Now, let me ask you, Glenn, back in the days when you would sell a terminal for the going rate, how much would you net profit?
Oh, back when we started, back in the 90s?
Just say late 90s, yeah.
$79.95 for 48 months lease com. I'm sure you remember. It was
so what was your net profit?
About $1,800 to $2,200 a sale.
Okay, hold that thought. All right, everybody, did you hear that? $2,200 per sale. Now, with the mobile applications and the opportunity that you have with us, we're telling you to sell mobile applications for $2,500, $3,500, up to $5,000, right? Multi-location, even up to $10,000. The value is there. Your costs are like 10% of that, right? You have very low cost of goods. Just like back when, by the way, when we sold and made that $1,700 or $1,800, Glenn, or that $2,000, how much was the equipment that we pay for?
What was it, like $400?
Okay, $400. I got to the point where I was paying $200. So I literally would pay $200 for equipment that I would make $1,800 to $2,200. And so after you minus the $200 in equipment, the $50 to have it installed, because I would pay an installer $50. Usually
It was $50. Yep.
Usually my friends and things like that. But think about this. That's a $2,000 net profit, okay? Or even just close to a $2,000 net profit. And that's why I look at this as being the same. So when Glenn is telling you some of the things that he did when he started, think about it. You have the same high margin. You're targeting the same type of audience. And here's where he said it starts. Contacting 80 people per, what was it?
It usually was 80, until I got better and better and better. It was about 80 people a day, call on, and there'd be a percentage that wouldn't answer or would hang up. And I just, that's another thing is I've never been bothered by no's, because I'm not saying this to be motivating. This is just factual. I just knew it was closer to the next yes. I remember when I built my company and it was like, 7, 8 years in, and a buddy of mine came to my office when I had an office and sent everyone home about 10 years ago. We've all been mobile since. But when I had an office, a friend came in and I showed him one of the offices, which was filled with filing cabinets. That's all that was in this office, like a 150 square foot room, and maybe 12 huge cabinets, 4 drawers each, and they were all files full of no's. I'm talking, so my friend came in, he's like, and he said something, and he didn't mean anything by this negatively. It's just kind of, he's like, wow, you're so lucky. And then I brought him into that room and I opened up all the file cabinets, because that's what it kind of took in the very beginning. You have to kind of go through that. And I said, would you be willing to go through all these no's? He goes, these are all no's? I go, yeah. But let me walk you in the other room. Here's all the yeses. And, and of course, after you get good and you get acclimated to what you do, then it doesn't, you're not going to have all those no's. But now with what you guys do with digital services and marketing, this is, to be able to be home and have a phone that has more knowledge, power, than the rocket that went to the moon in the 60s in your hand. You have this phone that can do anything. You can learn anything. You can, you have YouTube, you have groups, you have everything accessing. You have all this automation that you can tie in to your phone with applications and email marketing and dashboards to be able to see everything. And you can literally just block out time and say, this is what I'm going to do. This is the goals I have set. And just sit on your couch with your phone, with your Bluetooth, talk to your phone, tell it to do this, tell it to that. You need to learn something. You learn it. It's right there. All the information, everything that you could ever want to know is you have access right in the palm of your hand. And I think when we got started, Damien, it was like that. You're knocking on doors, it's yellow pages, you're manually filling out paperwork, you're going back, you're doing installs. It's just kind of unbelievable what's happening now with automation. And this is kind of random, but I was on a flight about a year ago going to LA, and I'm talking to this guy next to me, and he had a business, and I'm also an angel investor. I invest in companies, and we're talking, and he was actually, developing things to earn, revenue and investment for his company. And he started talking about his son, who was 13 years old. And he said, my son is very entrepreneurial, or maybe he was like 12, actually, I recall. And because he said he wasn't a teenager yet. So he said he's been researching whatever it was with marketing and digitally and his particular niche and things that he was excited about to do online and make money. And he had researched and studied for 3 months in his room with his phone and just, learned and developed. And he said he started a business, and I don't recall what it is at this point. It's something to do with gaming, I think. But he said he monetized it his first month. 12 years old, Damien.
That's awesome.
He made $4,300, and he said he's poised next month to make over $7,000. That's a year ago. This kid's probably making $20,000, $30,000 a month residual income. And it's a 12-year-old who only had a phone and desire and a work ethic and a positive attitude and willing to do whatever it takes and not make excuses and not complain and just do what it takes. And this kid is, he's going to be a millionaire before he's 15, probably. So you just take that, and he had no one guiding him, and he had no, and you look at the advantages we have now with, groups and the technology and it's just kind of incredible. The opportunities now, anybody who wants to make a serious income and have freedom and have autonomy and spend time, work hard so you can, one of my kids' friends said, I don't want to work hard. I said, I have the key you to not working hard. You want to know how to not have to work hard in life? He goes, how? I go, you have to work. This is the only way. This is the way. You have to work really, 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 really hard. So then you don't have to work really hard. It's the only way to get there.
He was like, yeah, thanks for that one.
I said, it's kind of like, I saw someone wearing a t-shirt one time. I loved it. It said, nobody cares, work harder. Because no one's coming for you. And there are people who care, but the bottom line is no one's caring enough about you to do everything, to do it for you. You have to do it. But, now with the technology and mastermind groups like this, and, anybody can really do it if you have the passion and the desire and the work.
Did you stay self-funded in the beginning of, as you were building the business? You stay self-funded, or did you bring on money?
I've never taken on investment. I just, created revenue and then would put it back in the business and then grow it and put more money back in the business and grow.
That's important. So, here's a few lessons already. You find a high margin product that's highly in demand, and you build recurring revenue portfolios, right? And you build your business and grow your business based on your revenue. And that's what you did organically. And that's what I did. I paid right out of my bank. Exactly what I did. Didn't, good, bad, or indifferent in the late 90s when everybody was going public and taking on a bunch of VC money. I didn't. I also didn't get picked apart by the vultures when everything came crushing down, kind of sailed through those late 90s. But boy, the crazy wild ride that was.
Yeah. But I really look back at all the hard work and all the crazy things, getting in your car, going to drive 3 hours to a no-show and driving all the way back. And, you called it windshield time, right? And now you don't have to drive anywhere. It's just, magnificent. And you set up these apps and this technology and the funnels and the systems and it just kind of does it. And you can track everything and stay on top of everything. And actually, while you're growing a business larger than, you could ever, imagine, doing it when there wasn't all the automation, you're actually doing it in less time. It's just magnificent, and you're not having to, it eliminates all the wasted time. You can be efficient. And, like I keep saying, with a phone, you got a phone and a brain and your health. There's really nothing you can't do.
But your days do have to get started in a certain way. What is some of your advice to prepare for your day, to conquer your goals, conquer your what you're looking to achieve and accomplish? What are some things that you would recommend or that you do to prepare?
Yeah. So usually the night before I go to sleep, I make a list. I mean, I've been doing this for decades. I did it last night. I'll do it tonight. And right. It's all the things that I need to get.
Little pen and paper.
Yeah. I don't know how I would have that alone. If I didn't have a list of action plans and the vision and what I needed to do and writing it all down and then I wouldn't have seen even close to, the success I've seen. There's just no doubt about it. So usually the night before, I will write down, ideas and things I want to accomplish, and what little things, big things, and wake up. I think morning is, for me, is critical. Wake up, walk on the beach, have a good breakfast, little exercise, and then I literally just sit down and just start checking off all of the things I need to do, and just start accomplishing one after the other. And sometimes my day will end in 2 hours, and sometimes it'll end in 12 hours from now. The bottom line is, it doesn't end until I've finished every single thing I've written down to accomplish that day.
So you don't carry anything over. You mean you don't carry anything over on your list to the next day? That's my Achilles heel when I play with the list, is all the things I carry over.
There's times that I do that, and there's times that things are carried over because there's different dynamics that come into place where I can't accomplish that certain thing, or I thought of an even more expansive, better idea on how to accomplish that, and it might take the next day. But I just start knocking things off. And for me, everyone has their different approach. A lot of times I'll start knocking off the little more seemingly insignificant tasks first, and then it just starts getting that momentum going, and then just keep going. And what happens each day is, let's say I have 15 things to accomplish, it ends up turning into 20 or 25, because what happens is then there's another relationship, another context, something else I need to do to accomplish. So it ends up being, it's just super productive. And I just don't.
So you leave room. You when the night before, as you lay out your day, you leave room for that slack, for that, those deals that are just gonna pop onto the, we got to address today.
Exactly. But you had mentioned blocking out time. And, that's one of the things that I would say has been, just a incredible value is people who say they don't have time, or they can't figure. The bottom line is, at the beginning of the week, I can adjust it during the week, but basically I'm going to block out time and say, on Wednesday from 10 to 2, this is the project I'm working on, and these are the things I'm going to accomplish. And I carry that over in, personally too. So I have, blocked out time on this day, and that day I'm spending time with my kids, and nothing's going to interfere with that. And, or I'm going to go play pickleball during this period of time, and I'm blocking. So I'm blocking out these things. So, but especially with work and business, and that's critical, because the bottom line is, if you had a job and your boss said, from 9 to 2, you need to accomplish these 6 tasks, most people would do that. But it just takes you're going to get, of course, so many more benefits, an unfathomable amount of additional benefits from accomplishing those goals for yourself, for your own business, for your own self. So the bottom line is, you block out the time, and I must do it. And it's not a stressful thing. I actually just enjoy it. I look at what's coming up, and man, I'm going to go knock that out, and it's going to feel great when it's done. And I'm going to move on to the next.
Yeah, and in like sprint work, right, where you're going to have a 2-hour jam session on writing some copy, maybe, or a 2-hour on outbounding or following up on prospects, or maybe 2 hours on contacting existing clients, looking at different things that you'll be doing with existing clients. And do you do it in typically 2 to 3 hour blocks?
I think that's about right, Damien. Yeah, usually like 2 or 3 hour blocks, and just putting it down and just accomplishing it. And for me, it's so invaluable, because we all know the day can get ahead of you. You can get phone calls and emails and distractions and this and that. And I just close the door, and I need to accomplish something, and block out the time and just do it. And I just sit there and accomplish it. And that's all I'm doing, is focusing on that project. And I don't mean in such a rigidity where I can never have any kind of interrupt. Obviously, life, there's important things that might interrupt, and you have to adjust. But I might be able to kind of close that block time, deal with something for 10 minutes, and then I come right back and continue that task. And, at the end of the day, I look at all the things I accomplished. I think this is really important. And I'm like, holy shit. I mean, I just did. Sometimes I'm just kind of blown away with one day. I'm thinking, God, if I didn't block this out and just sit, that would have taken me a month. It's amazing what I've accomplished. And you just keep pushing the ball forward.
Well, it allows you to stay focused on those goals and objectives. And like you mentioned, technology, the fact that we have these technology, yes, it's going to make us more productive. Yes, it completely automates so many areas in our work and life, et cetera. But it also has loads of distractions, loads of pings and pangs and pongs and from every channel, right? We've got 50 channels that we could be checking in on. We could hit email all day, every day, and never get anything done. So when you do this block focus time, and if it's 6 things you're to get done in the day, and you had allocated 6 hours where that's all you're going to do, and it was going to be 1 hour each, and at the end of the day, if you got 5 of them done, that's how you're going to have a chance of getting 5 of them done. A lot of people, guilty as charged, may attack those 6 things simultaneously all day, multitasking my way through the day. Look, I'm not perfect. I do that. It's the days I focus that I definitely get the 6 done, or that I definitely get a lot of stuff done. Sometimes I'm forced to multitask, but you've heard the saying, multitasking is a lie. You can't really focus on multiple things at one time. But we are in a heavily distracted, super connected, very heavily tech enabled world. And it's really hard to stay focused, but it's those moments I do that I get more done. Totally agree with you.
Absolutely. And you have to your point, you have to shut things off. So when I'm on a project and I'm getting something done, I'm taking my phone and I'm putting it on do not disturb. And I'm not checking unless I have some urgent things that are priority that I'm needing to, and I'll be focused on as well as looking at high priority texts or high priority emails while I'm focused as well, just to make sure there's nothing that is a separate priority that I need to deal with and it's time sensitive. But I really try to close the loop on that and not answer the phone on those 2-hour block times and accomplish what I need to accomplish, because you're right. There's the positives to technology, and then there's negatives to it. But the good part is that the negatives to technology, where you're always getting, you're getting pinged all the time and notifications, and there's so many things. We have the power and control to be able to go on. You can go on your phone and you don't have to look at it, or you can put it on do not disturb and you just stay on that focus. And I also kind of bifurcate into, things that are like low hanging fruit versus big projects. So when I'm blocking out time, it's not just all of my big projects that it's also the things that are, again, low hanging fruit that I can ring the bell and make a sale and take care of somebody. And so you're kind of balancing that. So you're not just going after just low hanging fruit. And then when you're done, you don't have anything else to do after that. And you're not just going after big stuff where it's taken 2-3 months to get done. You're kind of doing both. And I think that's worked for me. So you're getting the benefit of both.
We're a little bit opposite there, right? So I try to eat the big old hairy frogs first, right? You've heard that before, right? And honestly, that's what gets me trapped in carryover. So I try to eat the big frog first, and I realize that 10 things got to get carried over to the next day, right? So you've got to you do it completely opposite, where out of the 10 things, 6 or 7 things got done. So the momentum that you have going into some of those bigger projects is quite powerful. But yeah, man, by the time I get 6 or 7 things done, I'm wiped out.
But the way you do it, it makes sense as well, because a lot of the big projects, when you really break it down, big projects to get accomplished, a lot of times it's 10 things that you have to do that are smaller pieces in order to do. So there might be 10 sub things that you need to do to accomplish that one big project. So right. I just write all those 10 things out and just start knocking those off. And if I don't get all 10, like I said, typically my MO is I just don't stop until it's finished. But there's times, no, life isn't perfect. There's things that happen and you can't. Yeah. So it does carry over the next day. But then if I had 10 things to accomplish on a big project. Hey, I got 8 done the day before, finished the final 2. And, you just gotta, focus and just do it and just make it happen.
And I know, and Trey Wagner says, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? And I know that this sounds simple. We're talking about making a list, and everybody that's on here, you're probably anywhere between 40 and 80. You're on here, if you're in my audience, and we've all heard about lists, but here's the thing, what is a list really doing? When we reduce what we need and want to do to paper, there's just something psychologically that happens. Some of you have studied that deep. I haven't. I just know that there's something psychologically that happens that really draws you to want to getting it done. There's the dopamine blasts as you get through your list. I mean, let's face it, whenever you get through half your list and it's only 10 a.m., like I get a real big charge. It's also it's kind of like why speakers use PowerPoint presentations with bullet points. It just keeps you on target with what's supposed to be going next. And usually you build a PowerPoint in a certain flow. Sometimes you build your to-do in a certain flow. Certain things are in the beginning of the day. Certain things are the later part of the day. But the things that happen with a list, if it's client work, fulfillment work, prospecting work, sales work, follow-up work, accounting work, content work, social media work, whatever it is, put it on a list, stay focused on it, and just allocate the time. Knock it out. As simple as this sounds, it works. Mark Cuban, somebody mentioned Mark Cuban here. Absolutely. I guarantee he's probably still to this day works off lists. Most of the most successful people they have their own version. Some have gone to tech, but they have their own version of keeping us focused. So I totally agree with you, man. I think it's one of the big pillars to success and organization.
It's a pillar. It's a pillar. I don't know how, I couldn't have. I couldn't have accomplished even close to, in building the business if I didn't make lists every day and sit down and just start checking those things off. You're not going to remember everything and that's why on my iPhone, I'll have notes, business ideas, and, constantly, I'm sure you're the same, Damien. I'm sure many people, listening to and are the same where, you get ideas. And then you get the idea and it can pass. And I get an idea, it's going down in my notes on my phone. And I'm reviewing that at the end of the day or the next morning and adding that to my to-do list and getting rid of things that maybe I don't want to prioritize. But you get ideas. I'm constantly putting that on paper, putting it in notes, and adding it to the to-do list. And I'll be doing lists forever. I don't know. If not, you're waking up and you have no direction. What are you, the most successful, if you have employees, the most successful employees are ones you're giving them lists, you're giving them tasks, you're telling them what they need to do, and they have to follow that. If you didn't do that, what are they going to, how are they going to?
Good point.
So you have to do that for yourself. And, but I think, we're really in a time where, we're talking about when I got in the business and I'm working 120 hours a week for, nearly a decade. And today, I mean, people could build out like these digital agencies or whatever. And you could block out time 20, 30 hours a week and hit a grand slam in building the business. I just, because of the automation and the technology. So anyway, I keep saying it's just a great time in business.
Well, it is. And so take us through SODA. I thought that was very interesting in how that's been a really guiding principle for you. And I think everybody can benefit from it for sure.
Yeah, cool. Happy to. So when I started my company, I was always kind of, organizing this and making things more simple and figuring out what I could automate. And then I realized I came up with an acronym. And it was SODA, simplification, organization, delegation, automation. So every day I'm thinking, what can I further simplify? What can I further organize? What can I delegate? What can I automate, especially? And that's even poured over into my personal life. I apply SODA to my personal life. I can talk about that too. But I think that's...
We'd definitely love some examples on that. For sure.
Yeah. So, all right, this is a random. So my executive assistant, this was, this is probably 20 years ago. And I walked into her office when I had offices. And I said, Laura, here's what I want you to do today. I want you to take this pad and I want you to write down every single task and movement and action that you take today. And I mean ridiculously detailed. Like, I got a phone call at 9:45. I answered the phone. I talked to them for a minute about such and such, and then we did a call back. I got on the computer and was entering in an application, and I clicked here and I logged into this, and the time was from here to here. And then I did. So what I did with that is she gave me that at the end of the day, and and we looked at it, and I said, this that you're doing on the computer, where you click here and then you click here, we can make that one click. We can make that one click. So email the CTO, make this into, and just that'll save you 2 seconds. That'll save us 2 seconds. Multiply it by multiple applications, and then we kind of take that philosophy and apply it to all different things and make everything as automated and efficient as possible. And say, okay, well, people send this in this way, and they fill out these 4 forms. How can we make it into 2 forms? How can we integrate it? How can we make it more concise and more automated, where, Laura, you're not having to do it, but we can make systems do it? And this is way before all the technology we have now, and we doing that, and all of a sudden, where our typical day working 8 hours, at the week after, when we did this, it was the week after, it was a Monday, and she was done with all the things that she needed to do, like after about 4 hours. I literally saved half, and then I was able to say, okay, now you can apply your time doing this and this with the time that we saved. And so I think that's just really important. And keeping things simple and automated, also, in addition to the efficiency and growing your business and building it quicker, it also frees up your mind. And I think that's so important, because if you have things on your mind and all these details and all these things you have to do that are, let me stop. Let me re-say this. What I like to do is take my time and make it as efficient as possible, where it's generating revenue. It's closing deals, it's developing relationships. And if I have to spend time figuring out technical things and manual stuff and all that minutia, man, not only does it take literal time away from being able to do things that are creating revenue, it also, I don't know about you, Damien, but it also it drains me, because that's not fun for me. I want to automate that, and I want to make things simple and organized and efficient, so I can wake up and go, I need to develop these partnerships and these big merchants and these big developments and new products and services and cutting edge stuff. And that's what's fun, and that's what's productive, and that's what makes the money. And so when you're kind of doing all the details and you don't have your life and your business automated and efficient and simplified and organized, your mind's thinking about all these things. I like my mind being free, and there's not 1,000 things going through my mind. The things that go through my mind are, oh, that's a great idea. Okay, I'm going to implement that. I need to write that down and do that. And who can I kind of recruit and help as far as a team to accomplish that? Okay, I need to put my CTO on that, and I need to hire a company to do this for me and develop this. And then they do all that, and then I can take that information and roll out what I wanted to accomplish. But I like to really keep my mind free, and I think that keeps your not I think, I know, based on experience, that you get more ideas, you're more productive, you're happier. The happier you are, the more productive you are. The more productive you are, the more money you're going to make. And the more money you make, if you're doing the right things with it and you know how to handle it and where to put it and how to invest it you're going to create freedom for yourself. And like I said, it pours over into personal. My personal life, I soda my personal life. I don't need to clean my place. I don't need to go food shopping. I'm using an app for that. And I shop for years, right? We all have to go grocery shopping. Well, it's not financially wise for me to go to do that. I can go spend an hour and go make a bunch of money and go help a bunch of merchants and partners, not go to the grocery store. And so I kind of take that and I use apps right now. I have an app for all the things, most things personal, shopping. You got, the whole thing. You need someone to clean, you need someone to fix something, you need someone to do whatever. Just delegate that stuff. And some people have a mindset, well, then I'm spending money on that. Well, it's really how you think. Okay, so you're going to go spend $100 on that, but you could make $2,000. You could create another client. And so I like to free up my time without the, and I remember when I was a kid, Damien, this is funny that I had never really read any books at that point on sales or business yet, but I just had this thought. I thought, when I get older and I build something and I'm making money, as soon as I can, I'm going to take $1,000 a month. And back when it was, it only took $1,000 a month to do all these things. And I'm going to have, someone clean, someone mow the lawn, someone do this, someone run the errands, so I can spend my time productive or doing the things that I love to do, which is being with my family and friends. And when I'm with my family and friends, my life is so soda and so organized and so efficient. I'm not thinking about business and I'm not thinking about the 10 things I need to do. It's all written down. It's all organized. It's all there. So when I'm with my friends and family, I'm there. I'm present. I'm enjoying my life to another level. So that's been really important.
So let's break this down with the soda. The S is simplify. And you gave an example of that. For instance, if it was 4 applications, how can we turn this into 2? That's simplifying a process, right?
Yes.
And so any other examples around simplifying? How can these agency owners calling on local businesses simplify their prospecting process?
Okay, I'm gonna back up a little bit and preface this. Okay. Because I think it's really important to have your life organized. Clean your closet, make sure your place is organized, make sure your files are organized, because if not, your brain's just not clear. So when you kind of do that in your personal life, get everything organized. Just do it. Block the time out, clean your garage, get your emails organized, get things, set. And then you're going to be more clear on things that you're going to be living life. And when things are complicated unnecessarily, you immediately can go, I don't like that. I need to block out time tomorrow for 2 hours and, make that more simple and simplify that and clean that up and make it more clear. So when everything's kind of, so to your question, like other examples of simplify, I don't know, just everything. Just making anything that's an aggravation, a pain in the butt, a hassle in personal or business. If I can do something about it to make it uncomplicated and simplify it with work, with hiring somebody, with automation, and all those play into simplification.
Yep.
So that's kind of I think a big part is just getting your mind clear, and that's one of the most important reasons for simplification.
One of the parts I think is important for this group especially is simplifying how we start the business and take action. I've seen many fall into the trap of, well, I've got to have the LLC and I've got to have the website perfect and I've got to have business cards. People still use business cards. I know it's crazy, but
I've had a business card in 10 years, actually.
Me neither. So, but it's like the getting ready to get 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 ready. This is a plague. I've seen this plague for so many years. And so I think simplifying how we get started, like we know we want to do revenue producing activities. And that's what you say. You said looking at all the different things that you do, what are the revenue producing activities? Because that's where you need to be spending your time, simplifying all the stuff that doesn't produce the revenue. Because the revenue is going to allow you to afford more simplifying and more automating, right? Now let's go to organizing. So the organizing you hit, I love how you took, and already I'm sitting here looking at the mirror, right? I'm staring right in the mirror. Believe me, my wife would love to hear that you said I should address that garage. I need to address that damn garage, right? How important is it to have a clean desk? I get it. Like I go through these moments of time where I'll let it build up a little bit. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just grab a box and literally put it all in the box so that in one fell swoop, I could like be back to head clear. And you're right, it does. Just knowing that stuff is built up around me, it blocks my head. It makes my head think about what's in that pile or in that thing or on that note. Notepads are good to a point as long as you're getting through the material and getting those notepads you're not working on away, right? So organizing, very important. Here's a big one. And this is one that I think people struggle with. And I'd love for you to help give some great ideas. Delegating. And it doesn't mean you have to have $100,000 salary positions. Let's talk about delegating.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question is, do you want to be really successful? And if you want to be really successful, usually people who have, at least in my experience, what I've seen, people have issues with delegating is it's really control issues on their part. And it's sad because you can really find great people. You might have to go through several to find really good folks and really good loyal folks, but you can find people that you can trust. And of course you have to trust but verify and oversee and manage and be able to see what they're doing and making sure. But at the same time, there's a core level of, trust that can be built, and you need to be able to let go of that. If you have any issues with control, because you're going to, people who say, if it's going to be done, I have to do it all myself. I have to do everything. I don't want to have anybody else do anything. Well, that's if that's your philosophy, then you're going to kind of live that out. But, and I'm not saying you won't find some success, but to find really big success and freedom, I would think that's what most of us are looking for, is autonomy and freedom and choices and options. That's really, one of the greatest things, money can bring. You have to be able to delegate, and, there's things that you can do now where you can delegate a lot of stuff technology wise. You can say, I don't need to do this because I can have technology do it for me. But when you get to a point where you're hiring some people, or if you have some people that work for you, that's a good thing. Delegate as much as you can, so you can be spending the time doing the things that bring the revenue in, that bring the income in. And because that's the bottom line. Until revenue's produced, nothing else can really function. You have to have the cash flow. So I think that's really important. And on like the organization, you were asking, like what my day looks like. The other thing I do in the morning is at night, let's say I have stuff scattered and I've worked all day and I got stuff all over the desk, the table, whatever. Just me, and everyone has different personalities. You could do it differently, but I don't clean it. I'm exhausted, but the next morning I wake up, take a shower, walk, physical, take care of myself physically, get my mind right, healthy, actions, eating right. I mean, that's all important, eating good stuff so your mind's functioning at optimal level. And then I literally clean and organize everything from the day before, and I set up my desk, and it's great. And I've thrown stuff away. I have all my papers. I have all the things I need to do. I have my projects laid out. They're in priority, and I make a pile, and I take the first one and I just start going for it. And that's worked for me for years.
It's almost like your field. You get your field ready for play. You get your field ready for the big game for the day. You clear all obstacles. You set your goals right in front of you, and you just start attacking it before you start. I could take a page out of that book, sir. I'm gonna try that. That's really cool. I'll typically wait till the weekend to do that, and that doesn't free up the space throughout the week. I mean, you do it as a daily ritual. I think that's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Clarity is real important, and when my mind is clear and there's not all this stuff and things are kind of disheveled and a mess and I'm not on top, I don't function. I don't accomplish. And I'm not happy because it's not fun, and I'm not getting things done. So doing it daily for me is critical, because once everything's kind of organized and clear and set up, I can go, I don't have all these distractions visually or in my mind, and I can just go to town and get shit done.
Okay, let's go deep. Let's go deep. How
All right.
does one discover their life mission and business missions? Because those are two separate things. And obviously you have your own experience. I have my experience, but what would you recommend in how one discovers their life missions and their business missions?
What I do is I take time for myself and I ask myself questions like, what do you want? What do you really want? What do you want from business? What do you want from? I have a foundation, which is a passion of mine. That's one of the things I want. I want to build, but I'm asking, what do I want on uh, a daily basis? What do I want from business? What do I want from relationships? And really finding out not what other people want, not what your parents said, not what your friends said. What do I really, really want? And I think to answer the question, a lot of people don't ask themselves that question. And I think that's critical, to know what you want and ask yourself the right questions. And then going back to writing stuff down or typing it in your phone, making a list, what do I want from business? This is what I ultimately want. What do I want from my personal life? What do I want from relationships? What do I want from, health wise? Health is very important to me. And because it goes hand in hand with success in business. I think you have to be healthy. So what do I want? I want to feel alert. I want to be, I want to be sharp. I want to feel this way when I'm 90. And so that's what I want. I don't want to be suffering. So talking about health, I don't want to be suffering if I can help it. Sometimes you can't help it, things outside circumstances, but I'm going to do everything I can to be as healthy as I can so I can be, that goes hand in hand with happiness and joy and productivity. So I think writing things down and asking yourself, one of the most foundational things for me is, Glenn, what do you want? What are you, and it helps get through the maze of, do you really want that? Or you're kind of saying that because your dad kind of told you that. And so now you're thinking that's not really what I want. That doesn't really make me happy. That's not really my desire. What do I want to accomplish business wise and financially? My goal was always, and my dedication and objective was always freedom. Make enough money every month that's coming in passively, multiple streams of income, of passive income that is an asset. So then I wake up on the first of the month and I don't have to trade my hours for dollars. I know this is kind of rich dad, poor dad stuff. I don't know if anyone's ever read all the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series, but that was one of the first things I read, in business. And it's just life-changing. I would really encourage everyone to read those books or audios. But it's just really finding out what you want. You don't have to ask your spouse. You don't have to ask your brother. You don't have to ask your dad what you want, your friend. You need to ask yourself. Go take a walk and just, what do I really want? What makes me happy? What's my desire? Maybe you say, and applying it financially. If I made $30,000 a month residual income and it was long-term, that would make me happy because that would free me up and I could pretty much do what I wanted. And I could, spend more time. What do I want? I want to spend more time with and travel and have fun with my family and friends. That's one of my major joys. So that's what I know is one of my major priorities. So that's what I want. So how am I going to get there? I want that. Can I get there? Absolutely. I just need to figure out how to do it, set a plan, and start walking it out and doing it and taking action to the plan. So I think it's really foundationally getting deep. What do you want in life? What do you want in your personal life? What do you want in business? What do you want with your digital agency? What's your ultimate objective? And I've always, not always, but I typically start from the end and figure out what I want and then build out a plan to get there. that's just always made sense to me. You want to be financially free. Okay, what does that look like? Put the N and write it down. And I know it can sound basic to people, but it is basic, but it's foundational and it's critically important. And like you said, Damien, the most successful people I know, that this is what they do. They write things down, they put their goals, they look at it every day and they read it. And what am I going to do today? That will get me steps closer to getting that done. Make your list, start checking things off. But I think that's critical. What brings you joy? What brings you happiness? What brings you, what do you want? And when you really, really get that and you go, I want that, just don't let, thoughts of how, what would people think, or what would this, or you were talking about how people are kind of get ready and won't leave the house until every light is green on this, in their city. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah. And you have to just know it comes along with the territory. The more, and it's not so much now because we have I keep repeating all the technology and different things, but you have to get over, not worrying about failure, because I don't, like I told the story about opening the file cabinets, you have to go through extraordinary amount of failures to be successful. It's just, that's what you do. The cool thing about, which I didn't have, a group like this and mentors, and it's that you don't have to do it by yourself. I mean, I did most of it, and I wish it wasn't that way. I mean, I did most of everything by, initiated by myself, and learned and developed. And, it wasn't, I was delivering pizzas when I was 19, and then you just learn and you go. So I think that's the combination, really finding out what you want and not letting anything get in the way, and putting a plan together. And again, having this resource to be able to have mentors to ask questions, and what do I do? And what do you recommend? Oh my God. And then have people who've done things before and they can tell you, this is what you do. And then you just do it.
Yeah. We're in a community driven world now. And you get in the right communities that all have like minds, that are all out for some of the similar goals, that everybody, the peer level network, can really help level each other up. And I'm super proud as to where the Go Mobile community has come to this point, and all the new stuff that we're doing. We built a whole, Glenn, we had a way of doing a training site for 13 years. And now we've got a whole new interactive community site with live coaching going on in there, and new updated training and all this stuff. And what it's really allowed for is, like you said, you don't have to do this alone anymore. The business that we're in, find the groups that, you're aligned with, and get in that lane, learn from those peers, learn from their successes. And you're so right. You're so right. We are in a world now because of technology. And when it didn't exist in the 90s, bud, we didn't have like forums. We didn't have, that's what you had. Remember the old party lines? And then that was about it. But that was just a bunch of nonsense. We weren't learning much on the party lines. Now I can take full MIT courses on YouTube,
Yeah. Remember the Franklin planners?
Yes.
I mean, every day. That was the cutting edge stuff back then. And every day you're writing in this little, and now you can just automate your tasks and your to-do list and have reminders and have it all calendared and blocked, and your calendar, you put it all in there, and you just do it, and it's there. And then you can review, and, we keep saying automate different tasks, and yeah, it's pretty incredible what can be accomplished today. And then adding community.
I'll share something with Do It. So, and this will be good for you too. When we finally choose and make a decision to do something, right? There's the list the things that we need to do, right? And there's things that we want to do. There's things that we should do. There's things that we need to do. But it's what we actually decide to do when we make the actual decision that, like, let's say, for instance, I'll use a very vivid, a visceral example. Let's say your life depended on it. Okay. You will die if you continue to eat this, or if you continue to drink alcohol, or if you continue to, whatever be the case. Okay. Well, at that point, if you're of right mind, you will decide unequivocally, you will make the decision that you're not going to eat that thing anymore or drink that thing anymore or do that thing anymore. That's when you can actually, so what we have to do is look at the things in our life and what we truly want, what's aligned with what we truly want. We have to make those decisions, because if we just say, these are the things that I need to do or I want to do, it's the one or two that you absolutely decide and make the definite decision, unequivocal decision to do. And then every action that you take will be aligned with that decision. Every action you take. When you get up, who you call first, what you do, what you don't do, what you delegate, what you systemize, what you organize, all the decisions you make in all those categories are going to be aligned with the decision when you've actually decided to do it. You inspired me to give that piece, because it's true. When I look at things in my life where I've actually made the decision, it's not once you've chosen to do it and you make the commitment to do it, those are the things you get done. Those are the things you succeed from.
It's just true.
And that's how you run your business. That's how you run your life.
100%. And you really want to, feed in your life. You want to feed what you want to live and you want to accomplish, and you want to starve the stuff that you want to die. If you're unhealthy and it's causing you to just kind of you don't have a lot of energy. Well, you need to starve out. Maybe you have to stop smoking. Maybe you have to start doing this. Maybe you have to start drinking fresh juices or whatever, and you get your mind back, and you just accomplish and feed, and you said it just perfectly, actually.
What was the difference?
So
I've decided, right? I want to lose weight. How many people, millions of people want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. When you decide to lose weight, then everything you do will be aligned with losing weight.
Yeah.
That's a perfectly point. There it is right there. I said it with a lot less words right there. Hey man, no. I've been enjoying this, and I do want to ask you an additional question in the lightning round, because I'm going to take you through the lightning round, which I warned you about. But one I want to add a question that you won't see coming, because one thing I know for that is true, to be true. In my 33 years in business, it's been a roller coaster. I've had ups, I've had downs. We've had cycles in the economy. We've had cycles financially. We have things that happen in business. We've got things that change in the marketplace realities, technology realities, employment workforce realities, things like that, liabilities that hit us, lawsuits that hit us, ups and downs, So what's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned? And, maybe you do share a story of a bounce back that you had to experience and what you had to dig into to be able to do that, to get you back onto that path of like where you are now. I mean, you're very, very successful now in credit card processing. You've built a substantial business, but I know it hasn't just been one straight shot to the top. So talk to me.
It's just a daily, it's just a daily effort. And yeah, you're going to have your ups and downs. It's just part of, if that's what you're asking, if I understood you right.
You learned through that process.
The lessons. If it's going to be, it's up to me. No one's coming for me. I'm going to need to do all these things. And again, you can have others that can assist and help, but you're the one who's kind of setting like you said, you're setting the goals, you're setting the objectives of what you want to accomplish. And I've just learned that you just got to make it happen. And I just don't complain or worry about the no's or the downsides or the things that I really worked hard on and didn't accomplish, because it's just part of the deal. There's no such thing as everything's just successful. Everything you attempt, to this day, there's things, that big projects I'm working on, and they're done and they're fantastic, and then it didn't work out. And I just, I personally have learned for the most part. I'm definitely not perfect at it, but I just don't let it bother me. I just don't let it bother me. I think one of the biggest lessons is gratefulness. And that's just, I think that's critical. One of the pillars is just being grateful for what I have. I mean, a few years ago, I don't know if I told you this, Damien, but I had a major health medical situation a few years ago. I was incapacitated for a long period of time. I had a cyst on my pancreas. I was in a coma for a month. I almost died. You wouldn't have been able to recognize me 3 years ago. I promise you, you wouldn't recognize my face. I was a dead man walking. It was crazy. Well, I was barely able to walk. But anyway, all good. I'm in great health now. But I've always been a grateful person for the most part, but I'm just so grateful. I wake up in the morning, and one of the biggest things I've learned is just gratefulness. I take a walk, I walk on the beach, and I'm breathing the air, and I'm feeling the wind, and I'm looking at the sunrise, and I'm healthy, and I'm alive, and I'm in America, and I'm building a business, and my kids are healthy, and I don't do it as a mantra, like, let me be grateful and remember all, like, I need to make sure I feel grateful and I just am. And I like to think about those things, especially in the morning, and what I have, because all of us listening here, on this call, if, you had, God forbid, some kind of accident and you lost one eye, or you bumped your head, or God forbid, a car accident, now you couldn't think right, or you broke your legs, or that would be you, all the things you're worried about or complaining about or not grateful for now, you'd be like, I wish I had all that stuff back if I didn't have this happen to me. And you never know what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow's not promised. um, Anything can happen. Life is unexpected. And I think one of the biggest things I've lessons is deep. Like I said, I've mostly been a grateful person, but I have deep gratefulness for my life. And I think getting to that place sooner the better is a big lesson, because um, that helps every area of your life.
That's beautiful, Glenn. It really is. And, you've faced death nearly, to realize that. For me, I faced death personally in my family really close to me. And also with the pandemic, just being put in a situation to slow down and smell the roses and learn about the birds species around the house, and actually just take a moment to appreciate that we are alive and what we're able to do, and just everything you said. I won't repeat it all. It's because I totally agree with you 100%. And I think it's once I started appreciating everything and realizing that I can die tomorrow. When you're 20, you look at death, it's like, oh yeah, that's 100 years away. Like, it really doesn't even seem like reality, right? When you're like 20, right? You're just out there blowing and going. But no, really taking a hard look. I asked, I'll go to the lightning round right after this. I asked someone in the credit card processing industry that came to visit recently in Cabo. And when I got in credit card processing, Glenn, like I told you, I was in my 20s and everybody was in their 40s. And so now I'm 50, and this gentleman, really good friend of mine, he's 70 and now retired, but not ready to be retired. But in the payment space, they're not hiring 70-year-olds that are, they're looking for the younger guys coming out of college or whatever. And so, we got to talking, and we got some really big ideas and some things that we're going to work on and whatever. And, I asked him, I said, Bruce, what's left to do for Bruce? Like, he's one of the first, by the way, he invented one of the first payment gateways ever. If you remember LinkPoint, he
Yes.
created,
Yep.
invented, and ran the team that created LinkPoint. And so I just, he didn't make the big score. The people that own the companies that funded the projects made the big scores, the hundreds of millions of dollars. And, he, like many, kind of got screwed in the industry or whatever. But, here he is. He has this great career, built some pretty big, important stuff. And here we are. And it was just really surreal to have this conversation with this man that I've known for 30 years now, 27 years exactly, met in 95. And I said, what is left to do for you, Bruce? What do you want in life? And you know what he said? He said, and it really, really hit me because I'm going to adopt this. And he says, I want to leave a mark. Right? Now to
Impact.
him, he wants to leave a mark. He's wanted to leave a mark. And the thing is at 70, he's not done yet. And nor are any of you on here that's close to 70 or past 70. We are far from done. And the thing is, make an impact can be, leave a mark. Well, how are you going to leave a mark? Is it something for your family? Is it an organization? Is it a cause, a mission? Something, a movement that you'd like to see progress, things like that. But anyway, it really got me to reflect on, am I serving at the highest level I could be serving right now? I reflect on that. I'm grateful for what it is that I am doing, but I strive to find where I can serve more. This community, my family, my peers, my network, my friends like you. And that's the 50-year-old Damien thinking these days, because of appreciation, I think, and because of appreciating life. So thank you for that.
You expressed that perfectly. Yeah, I concur.
So tell me, man, this is the lightning round. What's the best advice you've ever received? Keyword being ever.
I knew this question was coming. I've thought about it. That's a hard one. I've received, different things. Find out what you want and go after it. I don't want to be 100 years old and have regrets. So I don't know if it's really the answer is one sentence as much as a philosophy. And like we were talking about yesterday, tomorrow is not promised. You work really hard, but you don't have to wait till, you hit a certain success level or whatever to enjoy life and do the things that you love. That's why I said block out time for family, while you're building, while you're doing things. But to live life, find your passion, work hard, have no regrets. And kind of goes back to what I was sharing where, asking, and I've heard people say this, in the very beginnings and kind of adopted it, finding out what you want, what you really want, analyzing what you say you want and asking yourself, is this truly what you want? And, so you can live a life, there's external circumstances that happen that we can't control, but everything that we can control, do everything that you can to accomplish those things, to yield joy and happiness and peace and success and smiles and laughter. So that's
awesome.
Yeah.
Good. All right. What would be a book that you would recommend to this audience and why?
For those who have not done anything entrepreneurial before, and this is new, I would definitely recommend, like I shared before, really the Kiyosaki books. I think that's foundational. But now it's hard. There's a lot of good books now with what's happening technology-wise. Everything digital. There's books, Digital Bank, Digital Life, Digital Human, all artificial intelligence. It's really interesting because back in the day, I'm reading books and different things. Now, it's been a while since I read a whole book from start to finish because you have YouTube clips and TikTok clips on business and this and that. And so I don't know that I have a particular book that I've really even read recently because I've learned and read. I'm constantly learning. I'll search a certain thing I want to research in business or whatever, and then I'll just watch clip after clip after clip after clip and really garner so much information and knowledge and impact rather than one book. It's even more efficient. And with artificial intelligence, right, with ChatGPT, again, in palm of your hand, I'll have times I'll just sit there and just ask any question that's coming to my mind all over the place and just walk after an hour. I've learned more than reading 20 books. So that's
ChatGPT can be your book, that's for sure. It can be your book of all.
You know what they have now? I don't know if and maybe everyone knows this, and I was the last to the party to figure it out, but Google Bard. Have you heard of Bard?
Yeah.
So Bard is like, you have ChatGPT, but it kind of cuts off like September 2021 or something as far as information, where
Right.
that's real time, including all the information that ChatGPT plus that you can, input all of ChatGPT, and you have all the real time internet information. It's just kind of mind boggling. So sorry I didn't give it exact direct like what book, because the honest answer is
No, you did a combo. You did a combo because the next question was going to be a tool, a resource, a hack, a software, something like that you would recommend. And you just did ChatGPT. It's becoming a big recommended source on these calls that we do, these happy hours, because everyone is finding ways that they can level up their business by using the tools. And it's just being recommended over and over again. And so the tool you've recommended is Bard.
Yeah, and ChatGPT, and there's several. So you have all of these different resources, and I mean, this is analogous to what you're sharing. If I had a digital agency, and I was a part of this group as a digital, building out a digital agency, digital marketing, to have this resource with you, Damien, and your group. Like I said, we started way back in the day, didn't have those kind of things with the community and mentors and people who've done it before and are there. I would be every morning, I would be writing questions, 3 or 4 questions that I would be asking you, of what I could do, in addition to books and ChatGPT and all that knowledge I did on my own. I would be asking you and asking folks in this group questions related to my goals. So when I wrote everything down, what I want to accomplish, what do I really want, what do I want to make happen, I would be asking folks who've done it before. It's kind of like, I'm sure some people have heard this before. If you're going to go through a minefield, follow somebody at a distance. You don't have to do it yourself. That's like the biggest thing. You have group, and you have mentors, and you have information, and you have folks that can walk you through and help and answer questions. And then you have all the technology and all the automation and ChatGPT and and clips and videos and resources. Part of what I would do, blocking out time, would be, there's no doubt about it. I would be, I would be blocking out at least 1 hour every day, 5-6 days a week, writing out questions, what I need to learn, and asking of the group, researching, finding out so I can get those answers as quickly as possible, and then so I can walk it out. So I think it's really a combination.
Writing questions, take an hour every day writing questions. What is it that I'm yet to learn? What is it that I need to learn? What's going to be closer to generating revenue? Ask the questions that you can pull your community, pull from me, pull from your peers. Love that. That's a very good tool, resource, or hack right there, Derek, for you for the notes.
Yeah, and I would be asking you, I'd be saying, look, Damien, I've set these goals. I'm going to send it to you. Can you review those? Tell me what you think about it, tweak it, amend it. I'm not going to get my feelings hurt. It's not about that. If you're getting you're such a roadblock. You want to get correction. You want to get amended. You want to get wisdom. You want to hear those things and then say, look, what could I do better? What do you think about this? What can I add to this? What should I take off? What am I doing wrong? What could I do? What do you recommend? Give me some things to do tomorrow and say, do these 3 things, and I'll do them, and then come back to you or the group and share and then do that daily process. But I think it's a combination now, today, 2023, it's books, but it's books and technology, and you got videos, and you have artificial intelligence, and you have groups and mentors, and that combination, the wealth of information that you can garner in such a short period of time. It's really mind-blowing. Kind of goes back to, that kid, the son of that guy I met on that airplane, and this 12-year-old's 3 months of researching, and in his room every day after school, he just up till midnight, and this kid is on the computer learning, watching. and then he made $4,000 his first month monetized. I mean, he realized what he had a hold of. He knew it was up to him at a young age, and he wanted to, wanted to accomplish. And he realized, I have access. You have a phone. You have your iPhone. You have access to everything. You can learn everything. You can develop whatever you want, and it's really up to you how fast you want to do it. I'm a big proponent of fast as frickin' possible, because the faster you do things, the more efficient, then you just have more time, to enjoy what you want to enjoy, and then be more focused and more productive.
Awesome. Elizabeth says, great evening. I'm going to implement SODA to help with time management. Thank you all. Glen, this has been fantastic. This is we are coming to the conclusion of our session today. But thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Like I said, I can't wait to get together with you and share some more stories of the decades of past. Just again, we've had very similar pasts. And so it's always fun to chat with you. Thanks for sharing your strategies with our community. Really appreciate it.
Sincerely, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. I'd love to come back on another and just listen. I watched some of the videos of things some of these, it's pretty fantastic. The quality of information that you're dispensing freely and liberally, and it's great. It's cool. I love entrepreneurs, and it was a pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. We'll get you on our list so you can join in some of the future happy hours. And also, we drop these things on YouTube, so you probably saw some of that stuff there. And for you that's on here, if you enjoyed this, please like this and come visit our YouTube channel often. There's lots of really good stuff like this. And Glen, I'll tell you, what I really, really enjoyed about this was it was just an easy, free-flowing conversation about the reality of business. And it was so motivating. Like, I'm motivated. I started from nothing as well. So our stories are so aligned. And it was just a lot of fun. So thank you for sharing. Well, and like I said, we'll get you on our list, so you'll probably be on our next one. Also, just a little spoiler alert for everybody. Glen is going to get me back into the credit card processing business. And so all of you guys will have an opportunity at some point to offer merchant services to your clients out there. So just stay tuned for that. That's coming at a later time. But, Glen's done some amazing work in the merchant processing space because he stayed true to it this whole time. So I'm excited about what the future holds for that. So thank you, Glen. All right, everybody, you know what it's time for now. Make sure to give Glen a big, warm Go Mobile sign off. Go ahead and unmute and say thank you to Glen.
Thank you, Glen.
Hey, Glen. Thank you so much
for being with us
tonight.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Glen.
Thank you.
Much
It was really my pleasure.
We're going to drink some soda.
Yes, exactly. Get that soda in your face.
Every day. Doing soda every day.
Mhm.
All right,
Awesome.
man.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your attention, everybody. Thank you for your time today. I'm going to hang out with my family here for the next couple of days, and I'm hoping you have a fantastic weekend with your family. Remember, that's what this is all about. It's yes, we work, and yes, we make money, and we want revenue producing activities, but for what? At the end of the day, it's to enjoy our lives. So you go do that this weekend. Go mobile or go home. Take care, everybody.